Welcome back to the Saga podcast that has been bouncing around and we're zeroing in on good stuff, but I think we have a structure now. This will be technically episode 4, maybe 3. I don't know.
Yeah, 3, 4, maybe 5. We
But
don't, we don't know.
by the time we put this one up, it'll be at least the fourth or fifth episode, but
Yeah,
to be determined.
and for all those who may be tuning in for the first time, or for those who have tuned in already and they came back, thank you for the first timers. I hope you guys enjoy, and please check out our first episode where we tell some creepy stories.
They're scary, and they're actually true. We didn't make shit up. We actually took the true stories and used them for inspiration and vice versa. So, you know.
Terminator Dark Faith.
Terminator Dark Fate. Oh man.
Just watched it this morning. Damien not on me about it, but he was like, "Hey man, I just rented it. I really liked it. I wrote a review about it on Dubfeat. Go check that out on Instagram."
Yeah, I was very adamant on at least getting somebody else to watch it so I could at least have somebody to talk to about it with somebody else. That's not really English, but you know what I'm saying. Let me say that again. Yeah, I was excited to talk to somebody about the movie because I mean, it's the Terminator lore that we've followed forever. I know you're a big Terminator fan like myself, so I figured we should.
Yeah, no, 100%. And but I will tell you something before I give my review, or we give our review of it.
Right.
Terminator 1, fantastic. Terminator 2, I think that was the first movie I ever bought as a little
Oh
Tom.
yeah, I remember that was actually from our B-side podcast when we first did like our beta podcast test. You talked about like begging your mom to buy you the VHS copy of it.
Yes.
By all means, please tell that story because that's a good one.
So I used to live in Canarsie, Brooklyn, back in the late 80s, early 90s, and we I don't know where I saw Terminator. My parents actually don't know either. I guess it must have been from a commercial or something. But we went to a store called Rock Bottom, and Rock Bottom used to be Rock Bottom is what Duane Reade is now, I guess, or Walgreens, whatever.
Okay.
So we went there. We were in the store. My parents were shopping, and right by the register, there was like a tower of VHS tapes, and they were all brand new and like all brand new releases at the time. And one of them was Terminator 2. There was like 2 copies left.
Just for the audience members that are under the age of 20, a VHS tape is the old school way of how you used to watch your digital movies.
Right. They were not discs, or they were not shit you put on hard drives or thumb drives, or I guess just stream it. These were actual tapes.
Yep.
That were a little bulky. You had to rewind it if you wanted to start a movie from the beginning, or fast forward if you needed to jump back to a scene that you had stopped on.
Be kind, rewind. That's
Yeah,
all I can say.
Exactly. So, my mom actually confirmed this story. There was like 2 left. They were pretty much almost sold out. And I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover, the famous cover of him like with his glasses on a poster.
Yeah, I think he's on a motorcycle.
On a motorcycle,
Yeah.
sorry, on a
But,
motorcycle.
I mean, he had the shades on too, but it was
Yeah.
the whole shebang. So
Yeah, and what's always funny about that cover is how pale he looks. You know, it looks like powder. But as I had picked it up while my parents were waiting online, I cried. I actually had money too. My grandmother gave me money for like, I think it was a tooth fairy or something. She gave me $20.
Okay.
And I think that's how much the VHS tape was. And for like 1994, or two, whatever, it's a lot of money. But anyway, I cried. I remember telling my parents, I was like, I don't want you to buy it. I'm gonna use my own money. I'm not asking you for the money at like 4 years old.
And it's that other factor too of it. It was like I only recently realized that it was a rated R movie. Like I
Oh,
completely
100%.
forgot that. So
100%.
yeah.
My parents said no,
As they would.
as hopefully good parents would. I got in front of our car. My mom was loading up groceries. I was becoming a big piece of shit. She put me in the car seat. I went to go stick my hand out, like, please take me back in, and she caught my fingers in the door.
Yep.
She thought she broke my fingers. I was screaming, and she felt so guilty, and my dad felt so guilty. They said fine. They brought me back in. My fingers were a little black and blue. I had Terminator 2 in my hand, and
his other fingers tucked under his wing,
yeah,
holding them,
missing.
trying.
And I remember my mom said, and my dad confirmed the story too, that the cash register girl stared at my parents because I was full of snot. My fingers were black and blue, and she goes, "You know this is rated R," and my parents were like, "Yeah, we know." And I watched the shit out of that tape.
You're dealing with child abuse. You're
Right,
dealing with a
exactly.
rated R movie that
Right.
a child shouldn't be watching. But fuck it.
So Terminator 2 wore the shit out of that tape.
Uh-huh.
I love that movie. I unlike a lot of people, I thought Terminator 3 was fine.
I thought it was good. I think maybe my disappointment for that one was the ending. But it
Oh
was it
sure.
was but I mean it's a type of ending that I've grown to enjoy now. Like it was a very obvious. It's like, well, what the fuck did you think would happen? Did you think we were gonna win this fucking war?
Right, exactly.
So there's a lot of endings like that that I really like. Okay, that's a really truthful and real ending. So
Yeah.
honestly, if I rewatch it, I'd probably change my tune. But
Maybe. Right. I mean, it was on a couple of years ago.
yeah,
I watched it and I was like, okay. I mean, it's early 2000s, but it's cheesy. I mean, Terminator's cheesy to begin with,
oh
but in
yeah,
like a really fun way. And I thought Terminator 3 was fine. I didn't think there was anything about it where I was like, wow, this is offensive. But I will say Terminator Salvation is an offensive movie to the Terminator franchise.
you know what sucks too? It starts off with such promise. You got so many great actors, and you're like, all right, this is they're in the hearts of the war. They're showing you
Yeah.
like pretty much how the shit's going down. They're the Resistance, like Terminator Resistance, the PS4 game that took 20 months to get to my house. But I digress. Pretty much, it showed you right in the heart of it, and then you realize how convoluted and ridiculous it just became this runaround plot that really fucking went nowhere. So
100%.
great. There's a lot of great scenery in that movie, and the special effects are phenomenal. Like the one dude who thought he was human,
Oh yeah.
and then he looks down and he like sees his half gutted body that's pretty much a robot. That was intense and that was cool.
Well, I mean, yes, I just don't think it was worth yelling at a crew member
Oh yeah.
over. You know what I mean?
Hey, Christian Bale, all right. He apologized for that, took him out to dinner, and he made it okay.
Yeah, fuck him. This movie still sucked anyway. Um,
Anyways,
yeah. Well, I guess the last one in Terminator Genesis, which would bring me to Terminator Dark Fate, because Terminator Genesis was a movie that had a good concept, but I just don't think it was. I just don't think it was done well.
Right.
And it was a little goofy, but mostly it just wasn't done well. And I actually found it kind of boring.
and it was also PG-13.
Yeah, that between Salvation and Genesis, which the interesting thing about Salvation is they have the director's cut that you could buy.
Okay.
Which, if you look at the back of the sleeve or whatever,
Mhm.
the director's cut is rated R.
Interesting.
And I did see a couple of clips on YouTube. What are the rated R scenes?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of nudity. But there is some, more violent scenes.
Yeah.
Not like overly grotesque, but just enough to be like, okay, well, that's a Terminator movie.
I'm curious if I watch it, I'll enjoy it more because I remember
not
just
at
leaving
all.
Salvation and going, ugh, that was a snooze fest. And I know it was the Charlie's Angels director, if I recall correctly.
Oh,
Mick
Mick G.
Yeah, that was his last. I mean, Charlie's Angels were his last good ones, honestly. So,
Yeah, 100%.
unfortunately,
So, shall we?
we shall.
Okay, take it away. Let's talk about Terminator Dark Fate.
Where are we going? What are we taking? Well, yeah, Terminator Dark Fate. I think it's one of those where the intro kind of reminded me of Mad Max Fury Road. It kind of just takes out from the jump from the start of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of give you just a little bit of back text and that direct tie-in from Terminator 2 to Terminator now, and they just keep fucking blowing shit up from that point on.
I got to say that, the opening of the movie was pretty good. I like that they did a cut, flashback to, Linda Hamilton or Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
When she does like the, everyone's dead, you're dead, he's dead, like that.
Oh, yeah,
I remember
yeah,
that scene. That was really cool.
I'll be honest, when I saw that scene, I'm like, I actually got like the hairs went up on my arm because I'm like, this is okay, this is good, it's heading in the place where I want it to go, and it did so pretty consistently.
Yeah, I mean, for a while, I mean, the first half an hour of the movie is kind of like all action.
Yeah,
but
it's all building off of the direct pretext to Terminator 2.
Yeah,
so.
100%. But here's the problem, and I know you're going to agree with me. It's not Terminator 2,
Absolutely.
which it's hard to compete with Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is really a very, very rare sequel that's better than the first one.
Oh,
the first
absolutely.
movie. And I haven't found a movie that I could think of that is actually like the fourth or fifth installment is better than like the first movie. You know what I mean? So
Right, unless it's sort of like a reboot, remake status, and it's pretty much stripping it and making it something new anyway. So,
yeah, and
which
I
is
still haven't found one that
right,
that
and
really
that's still
does it.
hard to do. Like I like the Star Trek reboot, remake kind of thing because it's still tied into the old ones.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't remember any of the old Star Trek movies, so it's
Well,
kind of like a well, okay,
right.
this is new and original and different, so cool. So,
But it's this whole reboot stuff.
mm-hmm.
Okay, look, let me level with you for a sec, right? Terminator Dark Fate gets announced.
Mm-hmm. It's
We
Dark
see
Fate, by the way.
what is it?
Dark Fate,
What the hell am I saying?
Faith.
So Terminator comes out, and they have all these
I mean,
advertisements.
it's the difference between Terminator the God or Terminator I'm gonna choose my own fate. I wonder if it was originally Terminator Dark Faith, Terminator Jesus.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Fuck you. Anyway, so Terminator Dark Fate is the posters come out. All these articles.
So one of the great things that I've noticed about the pretty much the PR for Terminator Dark Fate, they didn't spoil a lot at all. Honestly, I think they even downplayed Arnold Schwarzenegger's role in it to an extent,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of made sense because he didn't have. This is probably one of the most minimal-ish roles he had in it, because he doesn't come up until like the second or third act. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's definitely towards the, I would say the, I guess the second to third act. Yeah, he came in during the second act.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like it's not like he was downplayed, because I mean pretty much as soon as he was introduced, he didn't necessarily steal the show, but he became an integral part of the main cast members that were gonna fuck shit up. So
Yeah, and you know what? In Terminator Genesis, I think one of my issues was that they made Arnold Schwarzenegger a little goofy,
yeah,
or like a little dad-like.
and I don't know why, but I was mixing up the Salvation fight scenes and the Genesis fight scenes, because in Salvation he fights himself, right?
yes,
Old versus young Terminator, which is kind of cool, but it was also kind of silly and stupid.
no, I think Christian Bale fights a young Terminator.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. What was Arnold even in Salvation?
No, he was CGI'd.
Oh, so,
It was a
fuck,
CGI Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think
Because Arnold Schwarzenegger was still a mayor at the time, or governor. Sorry, governor.
yes. All right. So I think we should stop talking about Salvation. For
Yeah,
some reason.
Salvation is off the.
We-
There is no salvation for Terminator.
Salvation doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't exist.
There was exactly. There was no salvation after leaving that theater.
Yeah, that was, and I think, all right, look, Terminator Genesis to me was a little too goofy. Good
Mhm.
concept, and I
Yeah.
think that Terminator Dark Fate is without a doubt a better version of Genesis. It's like it's if they did a sequel of Genesis, and that's what Dark Fate is.
Yeah.
And I think that the movie in itself, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a better role. I think what they were trying to do in Genesis is achieved a lot better
Right.
in Dark Fate in terms of Arnold Schwarzenegger as a character. The movie came out. It's been out for a bit, but I know it's still. It's too. I don't want to spoil anything. Like
Right.
there's like that unwritten rule of like, all right, listen, it's been out for 2 years.
It's still relatively fresh.
Yeah, so we won't give the ending, or at least I won't give the ending away. But the ending, we were both talking about it.
The only thing I'll say about the ending is it's a very Terminator-esque ending. We've seen this ending kind of
Too
in
much.
the other movies.
Yeah,
But that aside, I think that spoils it, but doesn't spoil it, I guess.
yeah. The weakest person of this movie,
Yeah.
or the weakest aspect of this whole film, is Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like she's pretty awesome. She was the damsel in distress in part 1. She was the badass pretty much kicking ass and taking names in part 2, and she kind of was that in Dark Fate, but she just seemed like she was like dazed out or on some kind of fucking drug the whole movie. Granted, they tried to explain it too, or maybe I don't know, maybe that was her motivation for the role. But I remember when when she was talking with the modded human, she was pretty much saying like, "What I do now, well, I can drink a entire bottle of Jack and then I black out. That's usually my typical night." So I was
Yeah.
like, "Is that part of like why she's so weird?" And I'll be honest, I don't. Maybe this is just me reading too much into it, but I feel like she had dead eyes throughout the movie.
whole movie.
So once she put on shades, she was like 6 times more tolerable.
Yeah,
Sorry, Linda Hamilton, I still love you.
it's an excellent point to bring up because once she put the glasses on, the line deliveries, then you
Mhm.
could. To me, I was like, okay, she got all terrible lines. I think.
Right. And I think she was handed a lot of cheesy
100%.
typical lines, like her responses were this and that. I think she did have the "I'll be back" line. Although I feel she nailed that one. That one was pretty straightforward, but it was
I mean, that's personal pride. I honestly, I think she destroyed, in a bad way,
hmm
every line that was handed to her. I think it was spoon fed to her to make her a lot better than you know. Sarah Connor is an awesome character,
Right.
and I think this movie was a good way of like reprising her role, making her like awesome again. Which we'll talk about Jamie Lee Curtis, reprising her role in Halloween.
Right.
But I just feel like giving such easy material, like her character is not. I don't feel it's so complex. It's pretty straightforward. And I'm gonna just blame it on the fact that she was in hiatus so much that she actually forgot how to act.
I won't disagree with you honestly, and I really I like Linda Hamilton. I feel like she was an impressive actor for when she was around. Children's of the Corn,
Yeah,
Terminator 2. Nothing else I've seen her
that's
in.
it. That's it. Oh, and King Kong from 1987.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Is she naked in it?
No, just Terminator. I can't tell you how many times I rewinded that tape.
Oh man, burnt out, right?
Yeah, VCR. When you have VHS tape and you have to pause, it's not a perfect pause.
No siree. No, I mean, yeah, she was lackluster, unfortunately, in it. But I mean, she still, regardless of that, I feel like she still did her part to sort of hold the crew together. So
Yeah, she got.
she was still like I said before. I think I've texted you this too, like just to sort of get you more itching to watch it. I was like, well, she's playing her role okay, but she's kicking ass and taking names, and she's literally doing so. So
Yeah, she got me to point A to point B, point
Yeah.
C.
her chemistry with Arnold was good too, though. Like I
See,
like. Do you disagree?
I disagree, and I'll tell you
Okay.
why. Because this is off the record, not to spoil it. You know what? Spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear this,
Declaration. This is back on the record.
yes,
Cover your ears,
Yes.
you pussy.
this is a spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear this, I guess just skip the next, I don't know, 30 seconds.
Yeah, there's that 30-second skip button. You can do that.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, when they hit 30 seconds now, it's going to be when I tell the spoiler.
And that's when he shot her in the head.
my problem was John Connor dies. She's on this whole vendetta mission.
Right.
All she does is want to kill Terminators. This mysterious person is texting all the coordinates for all this stuff.
Right.
And finds out it's the exact Terminator that killed her son.
Mhm.
You don't go and find your son. But then Arnold Schwarzenegger dies at the end,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he looks at her, she looks at him, he's hanging on the ledge, and then he just falls to his death,
Mhm.
right? But there was no moment of like,
There was
okay,
no-
maybe even though she forgave him,
Uh-huh.
it was the same goddamn fucking reaction the whole movie.
That's okay. That's true. There was, I think that the one thing that the plot made a great point of was, there won't be a redemption point between these two.
I don't
because
think
of
there
who
was.
he was, because of what he did, because of what he took from her.
Sure.
So, which was understandable because you like, wow, he killed John Connor. Granted, he feels bad about it now that he's learned as a robot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how the fuck do you forgive somebody for killing your son like that? Regardless of how they feel. I mean, this is gonna take it on a whole nother level.
It's a movie.
Yes. I was gonna say on a whole nother level, just like think of it in a prison system where
Yes.
somebody, let's just say a drunk driver kills your son, God forbid.
Yeah.
You know? Do you forgive that person for killing your son after they've spent 20 years in prison for the crime they committed?
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's granted that's
And
the
I'm
real
not
life
s-
scenario. It's
And I'm
apples
not
and oranges, of course, but
right. But I'm not saying that Sarah Connor should have forgave Arnold Schwarzenegger.
yeah, right.
But I'm saying I'm using real names and characters that she shouldn't have. That Linda Hamilton's character shouldn't like.
I mean, technically, it would be Sarah Connor versus T800.2596 because of how many
the
fucking
patch updates. Yeah.
however many ones they made. I don't even
Right.
know.
I just think that towards the end it got and I know that lasted a lot longer. So sorry for those who may have accidentally listened to the spoiler, but I think my whole thing is I really liked the movie. I know you gave it 4.5 out of 5 on
Right.
your Dubfeat. I would totally give it. I know we did Rotten Tomatoes in our last episode. Hopefully that episode comes up soon.
Yes.
But if you had a Rotten Tomatoes
That should
score,
actually be the second episode.
Okay.
So that one will predate this one.
okay, what would your Rotten Tomatoes score it?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think the score on Rotten Tomatoes was like 74, 76.
Something in the 70s, yeah.
I would. I honestly, there's certain times where I'm really against what the Rotten Tomatoes score is, and after I watch it, I'm like, all right, that's a pretty logical score, 74, 76. I would probably go as far to give it like a 78, 80 in that range. So 70. Yeah, I'd say stick with 78%
I would say yeah, I would say 78 or 75.
because it had its flaws,
Yeah,
but
100%.
it stuck with the Terminator lore. It stuck with being a more direct sequel from Terminator 2 to Dark Fate. So
Yeah.
and I mean, like I always mention, I'm a stickler for continuity, and there's so many like just like how certain actors moved and acted. I got the taste of Terminator 2 in it. Certain scenes like where the modded human gets helped by the people when she first crashes down and land, and she just starts fucking
Oh yeah.
killing. Like that was like, whoa, this is just like from the heart of from Terminator 2.
With the
Granted,
bar-
Genesis did a couple scenes like that, which I appreciated, and I got to be honest with you because
Oh yeah, the whole flashback when he goes to the biker bar. Yeah, yeah.
the one thing that I will say is I think I appreciated Genesis a little bit more than you did, but for that same factor of like these recreated scenes of Terminator 2.
Sure.
So, but overall, it was there's some cool scenes in it, but it's like we
No, look, if you like it, you
Yeah.
like it. You know, we could be Terminator fans, and you can like one movie.
oh absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
There has to be at least one person that likes Terminator Salvation.
right? No, exactly. But the thing is, you know, you like Terminator Genesis for its reasons. I really didn't care for it.
Right.
I felt the story was good, but it lacked. And this literally was like, oh, hold on, we have a recut of the movie. Here it is.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, cool. So if they would have just labeled this Terminator Genesis Part 2,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, yeah, okay, fine, it's good. I don't know. I think Terminator Dark Fate, yeah, I would say Faith is a 75 for me. It's
Okay.
a 78 for you. So let's just say it's a 76 overall.
Yeah.
I would say we should you know, if you have a particular free night and you can get it somehow for free, if you get a free rental, if you want to pay for it, I think it's worth the
Yeah, I mean,
rental.
I'll be honest. I went to rent it for $6 on Amazon, and I think I paid $1 more to buy it.
Yeah.
For a
Digitally.
HD 4K copy.
Yeah.
Granted, I should have just gotten the physical, but I figured, fuck it, let me just watch
Black
it now.
Friday. You'll get I'm waiting on
I'll-
Black Friday for like 10
I'll still
bucks.
end up buying the physical anyway. You know how
Yeah.
it goes.
But yeah, no, I would say it's definitely a rent.
Yeah.
Terminator fans, it's definitely an own. I think if Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and then this came out, that would be great. If Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, and then this came out, that would be that wouldn't make sense. But no, if Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and then this came out
Mm-hmm.
After a whole hiatus,
That
I
would
think
have
it
been a good trilogy.
and it would have done so much better.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
Terminator Salvation and Terminator, I think even Rise of the Machines didn't do so well. Terminator Salvation
No, it
didn't
didn't.
do great.
I
Yeah,
remember there was a lot of PR for it, and it got heavily advertised. And I remember seeing it and like not loving it because of the ending or whatever. But like, I just remember not getting the response that they expected it to.
No.
And I mean, unfortunately, the same thing happened with Dark Fate because they had plans for 2 sequels, and they scrapped them after the box office was pretty lackluster.
Yeah. So you're already struggling with a series that hasn't been performing well in the last few years. You've had 2 movies that have come out, 2 or arguably 3
Yeah.
that have come out of the last
And you literally
decade.
you pulled the reboot plug within a
Oh,
matter of
too much.
when did they make Genesis? Was that 16, 17?
Genesis was like 16, yeah.
Yeah.
And so Genesis came out, didn't do too well. It was like Arnold Schwarzenegger's comeback,
Yeah.
you know,
That was supposed to be his big return.
and it didn't do well. And then that's why when I saw this, I was like, oh man. And this is gonna bring me to our next thing, which
Mhm.
is, you throw Linda Hamilton in, and it's like, okay,
All right. They
Now we
all-
got- now
all
here
the-
it is.
All
We-
the P's and Q's are in place.
this is guaranteed to
and
smash.
Not only that, they had the director of Deadpool in it. So like, you expected everything everything in place to be in order, which I mean, from what we both said, I think we pretty much we felt it was hitting the marks that it needed to,
Yeah,
you know?
I think for a 2-hour movie, it runs pretty fast.
Agreed,
It's a
agreed.
really quick movie to watch.
Yeah, because
that's a
I
good
think
pace.
I it's funny because I purchased it late at night and I put it on and I'm like, oh shit, like maybe this was a bad idea because it was like midnight and then I'm looking at the runtime is like a little over 2 hours. I'm like, maybe I should just go to sleep and not watch a 2-hour movie and be up till 2:30, reanalyzing it in my brain till like 3 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah,
But I mean, as soon as I started watching it, I'm like, no shit, this is really fucking
no, it's
good.
good. It's good. I watched it this morning. I was like, oh man, I hope, because I wanted to make sure I got it in before we did this podcast.
Right.
And yeah, dude, I sat down. Other than to use the bathroom, I was pretty hooked and by the time I turned around, it was ready. The movie was already over.
Nice.
But now let's move. Let's change gears for a sec, right?
Well, what gears are you planning to change to?
Halloween. We should take a break.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's take a short break, and then we'll pretty much do the Dubfeat way. We'll kind of overlap the two movies. What are their benefits and where they kind of where they separate and where they fuck up. And I think we've talked about Halloween before,
Yeah.
but we got some skewering to do once we come back.
Okay. Until hold on. We'll be right back with our sponsored messages.
Hello, love. Do you like waiting on a video game for 4 months straight?
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, I recommend going on this site, Big UK Video Games. You buy a game in April and you get it in August.
Sounds like a good deal.
I think it's a good deal. You pay full price for a game you could probably buy in the States with the Americans with no problem. But buy it from us and you get a nice 3-time month wait.
Sounds awesome. Where do I get it?
Alright, come on down to the Big UK Toy Store video game extravaganza. I'm adding on things because we got to, because we don't get paid if we don't. Come on down. Do you guys like seltzer water?
Yeah. What kind?
All kinds. Do you guys shave your armpits?
No.
Well, I've got the seltzer water for you. Dirty asshole seltzer. It tastes exactly like what she'd think it would. Dirty asshole. With a hint of hipster. All around Brooklyn, everywhere. Think of walking for 3 miles off the Williamsburg Bridge, bottled in a sparkling can. Buy 3 for the price of 1, because we can't get it to get off the shelves.
I used to be addicted to Adderall. And now I'm just addicted to Adderall and cigarette butts. Do you need help?
I think I do. I once fell asleep on my cat because I took too much Adderall.
Well, don't you worry about that. Next time, you come down to Dr. Shapoki, and I guarantee you no more cat sitting.
I have a roommate and he hates me because I'm dirty because I do drugs all day.
Well, I could probably help you, but you sound like a big, giant asshole. And Dr. Shapoki does not fix assholes.
When I take shits, I cry. Sounds like you need to speak to Dr. Kevorkian. All right, welcome back to, I guess, the Dubfeat. Talking of Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah, sorry. I know we're going to probably sound like we're high. It's because we just smoked a couple on our commercial break.
No, we didn't. They didn't. Marijuana didn't endorse us. We're not allowed to talk about it. Brought to you by marijuana. All right, now we're good.
So where we leave off? Oh, we're going to talk about Halloween.
Yeah,
and
I feel like
Terminator.
it's a perfect film to compare at least to Terminator Dark Fate because it shows what these reboots and remakes or sequels can get right and what they fuck up, and whether it's beneficial to reprise the classics like Jamie Lee Curtis's character in Halloween,
Yeah.
or Linda Hamilton's character in all the Terminator movies. So,
Yep.
the pros and cons of that.
So
And then we'll dive in very briefly about Halloween because I think at this point we just left talking about how much we hate it.
yeah, so Halloween gets introduced. Damien and I are like, all right, what do we think? Trailer looks pretty decent for what it was.
I was really sold by the trailers, and I try not to do that too much because sometimes I get uber disappointed. But I remember the first trailer was like, all right, it looks like Halloween. Then they dropped the second trailer, and it's like a point of view shot from behind Michael Myers, and he's just
Yeah.
walking. After I saw that, I'm like, holy shit, this is going to be great.
Yep.
And
And
we were wrong.
and we were wrong, and very wrong. Not to say that Halloween, the 2000 and I guess 18 or whatever it was, is bad. I just don't think in any shape or form it's a great movie. But one of the saving graces of that film, which it's like Terminator, because if it was Halloween 1 and then this Halloween that came out 20, 30 years later, or more than 30 years later, I would say that's great.
Right.
Like Terminator 1, 2, and then Dark Faith comes out. Then yeah, okay, that's great. But here's the difference. Terminator, Dark Faith. Did I say Faith again?
I lost count.
I don't know. Terminator DF. Good.
There you go.
Yeah. Terminator DF story.
Terminator Dubfeat.
Dubfeat. There you go. Has a great story. It's boggled down a little bit by cheesy lines, kind of not great acting. Halloween, good acting. Story is just, I feel like it's been told too many times.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will definitely say about Halloween is the 3 main characters they were all good in their own little simple roles, and
Yeah.
they expanded enough on them just so you got a taste of who they were.
Yeah.
And then obviously as the movie progressed, they all overlap in one halves.
Yes.
So
And so where we wanted to connect this to is Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis versus Linda Hamilton
yeah,
in the sort of battle of the comebacks, shall
battle
we
of
say?
the best.
Right,
Yep.
battle of the best. And let's just do, because I think this is like a round one TKO sort of situation.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
All right, I'll take it. Ready? I'm gonna pass it on to you. Jamie Lee Curtis, Linda Hamilton. The match begins. Who's winning?
Oh, that's pretty simple. Jamie Lee Curtis, hands down.
Yeah.
She's more paranoid. She's more prepared, and she's ready to fucking stomp something out that's terrified her for the last 30 years, 40 years.
And his age well better.
And also true.
Yes.
Although I feel like Linda Hamilton like reverse staged in some weird way, because like in Terminator 2, she looked very
True.
aggressive, for
Yes.
lack of a better description.
Yes. She looked very weathered in Terminator 2.
But it worked with the character because it was like borderline. She went method actor for Sarah Connor, which
Yeah.
I was kind of impressed by. I'll be honest.
But it sounds like she's been method acting for the last 20 years.
No, just meth acting.
Da, da,
I'm
da.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, no, Jamie Lee Curtis, because, at the end of the day, if you really look at the two characters, right, they're almost similar.
Yeah.
So Jamie Lee Curtis's motivation is, I'm going to protect my family because I don't know if Michael Myers, I know Michael Myers is still alive. He's in that mental institution.
Right.
And at any point, like the very first movie, he can break out and he's going to come and hunt me down.
And
right?
look how crazy all the shit he went through to try to kill me, and
Yes.
how he sort of survived a lot and blah 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 blah.
Yes.
Blah. So
And so her revenge is, there is no revenge. It's basically, I will do everything in my power to make sure that this person is dead.
yeah,
right?
it was sort of a paranoia and fear kind of overpowering her, but I mean, she took it as she kind of hijacked it in a sense, because
Yeah.
when they show her little lair filled with everything to take down this fucker, it was pretty perfect. So
Yeah, 100%. And then you have, then you have Sarah Connor, who is, my son dies,
yeah,
and by the Terminator, no spoiler because it's one of the first things you see in the beginning.
no,
And then it's, I will now live the rest of my 2-hour runtime of making sure I kill all the Terminators. However, though, it's not really done in a very convincing way because, like Jamie Lee Curtis, who, again, is not taking revenge, but is on this sort of vendetta, maybe somewhat mission, these
Yeah.
like badass characters. I just think that if Linda Hamilton would have just watched Halloween and looked at Jamie Lee Curtis's,
she would have felt a little
portrayal,
more inspired.
and
Yeah.
the movie, I think Terminator would have been like a little bit leaps and bounds, a little bit.
Maybe
better.
she just needed like a cup of coffee. I don't know. There's
Yeah.
a lot of night shoots for this, and she just looked tired all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh my god, 100%. Yeah,
And,
she
and
really
don't
looked-
get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying she looked tired and bad. She just looked unenthused. She was like,
She looks like she smokes a lot of cigarettes and probably needs to stop.
she's coming off. She just switched to a Juul. So
Yeah.
I think that's why it was hard for her, and she's used to just smoking 3 packs of Marlboro a day. So
Mm-hmm.
it's understandable.
Well, we were saying before, that Halloween was so successful because it's a horror movie, and it's not to say that horror movies in general, it doesn't matter how many times you could do them, they're always going to make money. That's not the case, but when you build so much hype around the Jamie Lee Curtis has come back, and again, it's Halloween,
Right.
and I think it was released right almost near Halloween too.
Yeah, I think it came out a few weeks
Oh,
before.
actually,
if
no, I think it
recall.
came out
don't know.
on Halloween.
Yes.
Alexa, when did the Halloween remake release?
The film Halloween was released about 13 years ago on August 31st, 2007.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks. Not
That's
the
the
Rob
Rob
Zombie. Yeah. Alexa, when did Halloween 2018 release?
That'll do it.
The film Halloween was released about 2 years ago on October 19th.
Oh.
2018.
Oh, okay. So it was.
So you were right.
We
So-
could change.
So October
Well,
19. So it's
I
about,
was
yeah,
gonna
2
say
weeks.
I'm pretty sure we might have seen it the day it came out, or
We
or a couple days in.
The shirt I'm wearing currently, I bought at Spencer's or Hot Topic, whichever, and we got because I made sure we were all geared up because
Yes.
we were anticipating a really packed weekend, and me, Damien, and another very good friend of mine saw it the morning of. We went to go to IHOP, got breakfast,
That's right.
and we saw the
I
first
think
showing.
The best part about that day was breakfast, unfortunately.
Yes.
Because it was great because it was one of those things. It was 3 of us let down, so it wasn't like, all right, Tom liked it, I didn't, and then our friend thought it was okay. It was literally us three just saying, "Wow, that was pretty fucking terrible."
That was pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so I it's weird, but you can make that connection of Michael Myers is to Halloween what Arnold Schwarzenegger is to Terminator, and Jamie Lee Curtis is the Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
If you could put both universes together, actually it would be pretty cool.
Oh man, actually, I would pay to see that. Even if it did suck, I'd pay for it
Oh, fuck yeah, I would definitely see
just
that.
to see what would go down.
Well, they almost did Men in Black 21 Jump Street crossover.
Yeah, which I feel like done by the right person, it could have been good, but
I guess,
yeah,
but
where would it have gone? 22 Jump Street was okay. 21 Jump Street was amazing.
21 Jump Street is fun. Didn't see 22. I did not see the new Men in Black, and I heard that was pretty bad.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I like the cast. It's another one of those where I'm like starstruck, but it's like
But it's not
I
doing
hear
anything.
it's so bad that I'm like, I think I'll skip it or catch it for free at some point.
Can
I'll
we
catch it in 20 years.
can we just say can we both agree that Hollywood's got to learn that this is not 19 fucking 30 where it's all star power really anymore.
Oh, you about to drop some knowledge.
Because it's like, yeah, because that's where, the start of like, stars,
Oh, yeah.
where actors are really the ones that are driving people to the theater and they're making money. Like, okay, yeah, I'm not saying that concept doesn't work anymore. I'm just saying that you can bring all these fucking people back that were in these movies that were really good. Does not guarantee that they're gonna make fucking money.
Yep.
Concentrate on actually telling a really good story, and less about give me some fucking cameos. I don't really care about
cameos. Don't bank on the
cameos.
star power. Don't bank on it. Because
Yeah, if it doesn't
can only
make
take
sense,
you so far.
Yeah, exactly. Like Linda Hamilton, I agreed with you 100% before the podcast. So, I was agreeing with you 100% before the podcast, which was, yeah, Linda Hamilton is great, but if you would have just thrown me another Terminator or introduced another like machine, and still sort of kept the same story, I would have been totally fine with it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So whatever.
She didn't have to be there, but I feel it was like it was a tribute payback to her. I guess
100%. And weirdly enough, James Cameron was very close to this project, and I heard him and Tim Miller did not get along. Because I heard James Cameron's actually a real piece of shit to
that
work
would
with.
kind of make sense, though. I think.
But then
I feel like they would clash, but at the same time, yeah.
Yeah, but that's why maybe Linda Hamilton was like, "Fuck this," because
Yeah.
she didn't want to hear ex-husband mouth anymore.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that too. I'm like, wait, weren't they married? Like,
Yeah.
They were married when they did Terminator 2, correct?
When she was popular,
Yeah.
and then he threw her away.
Yeah, and then made
Like-
Avatar and
Titanic.
oh, and then I mean he just does brilliantly with women because
And then the
there's
Hurt
a-
Locker.
yeah, and she beat him.
She did,
Yeah,
but she's not doing anything anyway.
That's
I
true.
hate to say that, but she
was
has
Catherine Bigelow, right?
Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah.
Really hasn't done much. Wow, James Cameron.
Yeah.
So you get go fuck yourself. All right. So anyway, moving on. So how's it been? So we're recording.
Don't you see the mic, Soph?
Yeah.
Come on.
Don't you see the red light? Shut up.
Yeah. Well, that's not good enough a defense, okay?
Sophie,
Yeah,
we're
I know.
recording.
She's giving you attitude right now.
Damien, how are your packages coming along?
I don't even want to talk about Amazon anymore. It's ruined my life. No, I purchased something recently, and I added my work address on there to make things convenient, just in case I'm working. Because as we mentioned before, my paranoia is getting my shit stolen.
Yeah.
So I made the mistake of ordering it there, thinking that it would arrive on a day that I was off from work, which defeats the whole purpose.
Right.
And then, of course, it gets delayed and pushed back and all this stuff, and it looks like it's going to arrive on a day where I'm going to actually be at work. Anyways, main point is, it, of course, arrives today when I'm not working, and it's probably sitting somewhere at my job. I've already waited like a week and a half just for it to fucking arrive, and yeah, it's killing me. And that's just one of the things that I ordered. The other thing came was a stupid mask. It was a cool mask when I bought it online. It arrived, and it's a stupid mask that doesn't even fit, so... Unless I butcher it.
At least it came.
This is true. It can actually arrive super quick, but
I'm still waiting on
it's garbage.
two things that are super delayed right now.
Oh,
and,
no.
And this goes back to us. Inconvenient for us is problems that other people wish they had, I guess.
Woe is us.
Yeah, right.
Time for us to complain.
Yeah. Well, I want to tell you something I learned. I have a neighbor who's super, super nice.
Okay.
Just moved in. The neighborhood that Damien and I live in, or at least, where Damien grew up.
Mhm.
Super Italian, somewhat Jewish, whatever. But
yeah, it's relatively mixed, but at the same time, it's not.
yeah, right, exactly.
It's like a gated community, but there aren't any gates. But if you overstep the invisible gate,
Well, there's the invisible bats.
exactly. Oh wait, no, those are real bats. Oh fuck.
Right. Oh, there's my leg.
Well, let me get a slice of pizza at Newport. That's
Yeah.
all I'll say.
So you have a lot of small dick Italians that live here.
Plenty. You could kind of tell by how big their garage is. If their garage holds more than 3 cars, they probably have a micro penis.
100%.
So
And a lot of people in this neighborhood don't care for anything other than tan or white skin.
right.
And tan, I mean like Sicilian tan, which is like Ritz color cracker mixed with red. And we had a lady that just moved in next door, super nice woman. She's Trinidadian and Portuguese.
Which, by the way, I don't think I read this online. I don't know if it's factual, but I heard that Trinidad had no cases of COVID-19.
But Italy did.
They had a lot. They had plenty of micro penis COVID-19 cases.
Did you not know that the reason why there's corona in Italy is the micro penises?
The two things are. I'm not saying there's correlation, but I'm saying that's why.
Corona's only affecting people with micro penises.
There's at least 3 people that go, oh fuck, they know.
Oh man, is that really why? There's gotta be one person that's listening to this who has a small dick and goes, "Shit, is that why I got sick?"
Wait,
Maybe.
I have been coughing more.
You know what we gotta do in a week or 2 from now? We gotta go to Google and say this small dicks affect corona, and let's see if it comes up as the #1 search.
I hope so.
Anywho, so next to this woman is an asshole neighbor who's been living here for a bit, but just has no self-respect for anyone. Has no respect for himself.
Sounds like it. From what I heard, he doesn't sound like a self-respectable person.
No, and his wife's just a gigantic meatball cunt, and she actually fucked my wife over. Without getting too far into the story, they basically hired her to drop her daughter off at her high school because the bus that they were paying for got really expensive.
Fuck. Mm-hmm.
And they said, would you mind just doing the morning shifts, and then I meaning her, the mom, will go and pick her up. Her school was like in like Flushing. So my wife was like, okay, she was like in between jobs, and what they were offering to pay her was like, I think like $200 a week or something like that.
Okay.
It was how much? $200 a week. And we were like, wow, this is good. We're
I like how we just got a live fact check.
Yeah, right.
That was great.
And so it wasn't confirmed just once. It was confirmed 2 or 3 times. And one of those times I was there to witness it.
Right.
We literally dropped off one night barbecue food to them.
Mm-hmm.
They were all outside, and him and his wife were like, yes, would you like to take it? We just need to know, because she started school like 2 weeks from then. And they were like, yes, $200 a week. And I turned to my wife, and I was like, yeah, I mean, what's there to argue about? If that's all you have to do, you don't even have to get another job if you don't want.
Yeah.
Or if you do, you're only doing this. It's a 1 hour commitment every day,
mm-hmm.
To and from. So she did it. The first week goes by. They were supposed to pay her weekly, and nothing comes up. And I'm like, okay, maybe nobody was home.
Right.
So she did a couple of days. Let's just say she did like 3 extra days the following week, and she was texting me like, hey, like, babe, what do I do? Because the wife, she's not coming out or whatever the case was. And I was like,
yeah.
Well, text her and say, hey, you owe me for last week. I need to start putting gas in my car. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, have fucking minimum.
Yeah. And
Jesus.
She answers her and says, sorry, we didn't agree on paying you. This is not verbatim. This is paraphrasing, but
yeah,
we're not paying you weekly. It's $200 a month.
What the fuck?
And that's a huge difference from we're paying you $200 a week to $200 a month. There's weeks and months don't sound very similar. They're not like the fucking, not like C and D on a keyboard, exactly. or the 2 letters in a keyboard where you get them confused between something else. But and I was like, fuck you. I was like, you make sure you get your money.
Fuck you.
And fucking, because now they're taking advantage, because it was said at least confidently twice,
mm-hmm.
where they confirmed that the amount. So after that, they paid her,
Mm-hmm.
and then they try to someone else who's an Uber driver in our neighborhood. They try to hire her. She agreed to the same rate. I think it was a little higher, like $250.
They pulled the same bullshit.
And they pulled the same bullshit. And her
Wow.
was like, she gave her like 3 days and was like, fuck you, that's not what you agreed on.
Yeah.
And these assholes, this guy like lost his job and then like didn't work for a while. And even at some point tried to borrow and ended up borrowing a cable box from my uncle because his family wanted to watch something on TV. So he literally went around the corner, my uncle being a nice guy, unplugged everything.
Oh my God.
And gave him his cable box.
Yeah.
And he like borrowed it for like a week.
You don't even hear that shit. Like somebody came over to my house and asked for anything related to any DVDs or any of that sort. I'm like, no, sorry.
Right.
Actually, you know what? No, you could take my roommates, but you're not touching mine.
Right, exactly. Just clean it. But so, and the funny thing about this, and sorry I'm making this so long, is that after that happened, and it wasn't really confronting, it was more like, hey, where's the money?
Yeah.
They stopped talking to us, which was fine. They were pieces of shit, but they stopped talking to us.
That's funny.
So now this woman moves in.
Fucking idiots.
And this woman, the house that she bought needs a lot of repairs, and they were moving really quick. So in the matter of like 2 months, the whole upstairs got gutted and redone. Beautiful job.
Awesome.
This motherfucker comes outside one day and says, her brother introduced himself and said, "Hey, do you want to come up? Because I think this dude was his name is Freddie. I'm not ashamed to give a real name." And he goes,
"Yeah, he's a dick. It's okay."
Yeah, and Freddie's like, "Yeah, can I come up and see the work that's being done?" Sure. So he comes up, and this motherfucker in front of like 4 or 5 workers goes, "So like, what's the deal here? Where you getting all this money to do this so fast? Like, is any of you guys drug dealers?"
What a dick.
And so this dude's like, how about he's like, "You know what? That's very disrespectful. I would appreciate now if you leave my house." And
yep.
And even asked this woman if her brother, who was gardening, he was just doing the front of this woman's house. He goes, "He's a little dark skinned. That's your brother?" And she goes, "Yeah." He goes, "But you told me you were like Portuguese. What is he, Mexican?"
What the fuck?
And then asked her, "How'd you pay for your Mercedes truck? My daughter wants one. Did you pay cash or do you still owe? Like, what's the deal with that?"
Oh my God.
Okay.
What a
So to
fucking
Freddie,
idiot.
who lives in this area, go fuck yourself, you and your dick-headed dirty wife.
I haven't met them, but I don't plan on it.
You've met them before, not like in
I've probably
person,
seen
but
them.
he's been outside, and this asshole has had corona for the last 3 weeks and has never once wore a mask.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's nasty.
And that dog that's barking is their dog. That does not stop barking. I like animals, so nothing to the animal. It's a pup, but they're a piece of shit. And I hope the dog has pee somewhere and they get sick.
Yeah, I hope they get that disease, penis pee.
The micro penis corona attack.
Yes, it's airborne from dog piss. That's what it comes from.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what it was. Yeah.
But that's my story of the week in corona times. What about you?
Well, I've been just building a puzzle. It's the first puzzle I've built
What a
since
common
I was like 20. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But no, it's funny that it's been a very light and easy week for me. But it was funny because the gears started rolling in my head, I guess, from like us doing stuff, doing podcasts and whatever. And I was thinking of like doing a short film of just a dude that loses his mind as he plays the puzzle at home. Mostly sticking factual because as I built this puzzle, the mosaic puzzle, it's made my brain feel like it's melting. It's made my hairline recede. But it's been fun, you know.
It looks cool. I mean, you show me a picture, I know it's just the border, but it's like off the box.
Well,
it looks
it's
it
more
old?
than the border now. It's like I've gotten at least 1/20th of the frame down. It's the bottom part. It's green. I got all the green pieces in.
You've had that for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I got it when I was like, I had to be in my teens when I got it. So this thing is probably like 15, 20 years old now.
Are you gonna frame it?
I was thinking about it. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a giant Bart, so.
Nah, I mean just.
Well, actually, it's better yet. It's Bart Simpson on the chalkboard.
Nice.
So.
What does he write on the chalkboard?
It might actually say, if I recall correctly, I think it says, "I will finish what I started," and it's "I will finish what I stat," as if he couldn't finish that
Funny.
one. So yeah,
That's cute.
He
Yeah,
has
I remember you
hanging
showed me that puzzle when you were living in the area,
on the wall.
and you never made any mention towards doing it.
Yeah, it just kind of became something that always traveled with me. But Like when I moved, I mean, I didn't just like take the imagine taking it to the beach with you. No, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, it traveled every time I moved, but I never put it together. But it still ended up like with my board games and shit, and you know.
Well, I hope you do it.
Yeah, I'm
I hope
actually.
you do. It
I
looks
give
pretty
up
cool.
on it today. I took it apart and I'm done with it. I'm throwing it in the trash. So
Well, and it keeps traveling with you like the sisterhood of the traveling pants.
it'll be back. It'll be back in my house in 5 minutes. No, I actually I started finishing up I pretty much have Bart's feet down, and I have his blue pants. Now I need to build his shirt and his face, and then take 3 days to put all the filling in because that shit's gonna take forever. So.
Do you think Bart has a dick?
Yeah, of course. Didn't you see the Simpsons movie? We saw it.
Yeah.
It's there. It wasn't. It
Oh,
wasn't
right, because
micro,
they
though.
block. It was in the beginning, right, when they're on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was when he's skateboarding, when his dad dared him to skate naked. And remember, the whole scene
Oh,
is like
yeah.
it being blocked, and then right at
Yes,
the end they
yes.
show his dick.
They did. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But they got away with it, obviously, because I think that was the main reason why it was PG-13, so they could have those little risque, raunchy, borderline jokes, which wasn't.
I
it was
always,
fun.
yeah, it was just funny, and I always expected
Yeah.
Simpsons to at least.
I
Be
saw that with my
PG-13.
grandpa, and it wasn't one of those like, oh God, my grandpa just saw a yellow wiener, you know.
Yeah.
Which, mind you, this is the same grandpa me and my stepbrother and my sister saw Charlie's Angels Full Throttle with. And the intro scene is them undercover as strippers. So we're sitting next to our 70-plus-year-old grandpa going, oh, God, this is going to be a strip scene. And
Yeah, I'm sure your grandpa was really disappointed.
oh, he looked so uncomfortable, and then he fell asleep to the movie. Thanks, Mick G. That's a double feat for us.
Oh, Mick G, if you're listening, just stop making stuff, please, dear
Just
God.
stop. What was his last film? I think he might have made something good.
I don't know, but I will say the only thing Mick G's done that I'm appreciative of
Yeah.
is he did I think he created OC.
The OC? The one with
Remember the show?
yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the creator of OC.
And that's
Alexa.
an accomplishment.
Who created the OC?
The OC was created by Josh Schwartz.
Oh,
Never mind.
we take it back.
I guess he just directed a couple episodes.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's got to keep busy when he's making flops. Just kidding. Sort
That's the wind
Wait.
of failure. Yeah.
He didn't direct any of the Austin Powers, did he? No.
No, that was Jay Roach.
That's right. Okay.
Damien, you know what that sounds like?
What?
Sounds like we just wrapped up another episode.
Are you sure? I think it sounds like the stove's still on.
For those that are not aware, which should be everyone except myself, Damien is super high,
No, I'm not. I'm high. Hello.
and I'm high like Dark Faith.
I thought that if you got high, you would now say it correctly, but I guess I'm
no, it's
wrong.
never going to happen. And because you pointed it out, I'll always have a complex about it.
I'm going to make you a copy of it, and I'm going to spell it differently because I'm going to design the artwork on the DVD box.
All right.
And it's going to say Terminator Dark Faith, and he's Jesus. So, coming soon.
If you could put somewhere on that poster Lady Terminator, I'd be very happy.
Oh, yes. Oh, obviously, the movie's like a sequel to her movies.
Oh my God. I think Lady Terminator is a sequel to Sarah Connor.
I think
I think it is Sarah Connor. I think Linda
I'll take it
Hamilton.
one step further. Lady Terminator versus Sarah Connor. Lady Terminator, done deal.
Holy shit. I don't know, because what's worse than Lady Terminator? Oh, I got it. Linda Hamilton's acting.
She just needs your shades on, and you'll love her.
Oh God, they should have called it Marlboro. But so, as a good old Terminator once said, I'll be back. I think it's only fitting to say, as we wrap up here tonight, we'll be
I was
back.
trying to think of another Arnold line. Fuck you! Come back!
You will be back, because it is not a tumor.
He's not a tumor.
But for all those listening, I hope you guys enjoyed.
Thank you for stopping by.
And until next time,
We'll see you.